Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the webcast for the SEC Media Days, our first one. We're here for the first day as the SEC celebrates 75 years of existence. And, Robbie, I believe you covered all those.
Yeah, I think so. Me and Norm Carlson both.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting around here. It's been a great first day. We had it was just fun to listen to these guys. And, of course, the kickoff to football season. Two of the happiest guys here were the coach from South Carolina and the coach from Kentucky. When's the last time unless it was basketball, you usually don't see that. But Steve Spurrier and Rich Brooks seem to be happy to be here.
Spurrier could not wait to get here, Pat, I think, to let everybody know his team and his mind is a contender now. He's got a quarterback that knows his offense, can run it, showed the last half of the year that they can do it, and they won their last 3 games, including a bowl game. So he said today, time to up the goals. We're no longer just trying to win a bowl game, have a winning record. We're trying to win the conference. And I think his players believe it.
Yeah.
His players believe they're ready, too, if you talk to them. So
yeah, I think it's, I tell you, there was a sense of real optimism on his part. And a lot of people agree with him. They think you're going to see him get some votes. I'll be surprised South Carolina doesn't get any votes.
Yeah, and he was quick to point out that, Florida won the national title. They won the close games. That's how you've got to do it now. They didn't win the close games a year ago. So I think he thinks if they can get over that hurdle, they're going to be right there. And I think a lot of people here believe it, too.
What did you take when he said the best team doesn't always win the championships? You think he was referring to anybody in particular?
I think he was actually referring to LSU because you look at the talent they had and the stats they put up, they looked like the best team on paper. It looked like the best team coming out of the tunnel, but weren't even in Atlanta. So I think that's what he's trying to point out.
Yeah, it's funny because he did find a way to take a shot at Clemson, saying we thought it was a big deal when we beat Clemson, but then Kentucky beat them. So
but he took a shot when the question was about the Kentucky quarterback, Andre Woodson, but somehow he twisted it to get a shot in on his rival and about him.
Yeah, he's a piece of work he is. That hasn't changed, believe me. Of course, Rich Brooks we talked about is excited about the season. They're coming off a bowl win as well, and I guess maybe if you come off a bowl win, you're fired up.
Yeah, especially if you're Kentucky, and especially if you're Rich Brooks. When a year ago he's standing up there thinking, I don't even know if I'm going to be back this year. The big question was, he was on the hot seat. They didn't look like they're going to be very good. He didn't know who his starting quarterback was. They settled on Andre Woodson. He lights it up. They win 8 games, win a bowl game. He's back.
A lot of people don't realize they, by far and away, the leading quarterback in the SEC as far as yardage, and coming back for another year. We'll be interested to see where Kentucky's still going to be picked 5th, I think. Yeah. But they're going to beat some teams.
They are, and they're going to play a role in who does win the East. And you got Keenan Burton, the wide receiver, who's as good as anybody in the country, maybe at his position. And they've got a tough schedule too. But I think they're going to be a major factor in who wins that division. There's
no question that the kickoff was perfect because it was Houston Nutt from Arkansas and what he's been through in the offseason. Obviously, some of it is own doing, and there's no question about it. But he was very defensive today, Robbie. It just seemed like he was trying to spin it the best way he could, rambling answers, and you can read more about it on Gatorsports.com, the column I wrote about him. But Arkansas is going to be an interesting story this year because a couple of losses, and man, the same fans that went Freedom of Information Act on them are going to be all over.
Yeah, and like Spurrier pointed out, Arkansas lost its last 3 games last year, and that kind of sets a negative tone. Then the other stuff happened, and it just kind of snowballed on them. And it's going to be an interesting team. They're going to have a great backfield, but a quarterback that I don't know if he can get it done throwing the ball, even though they've got the great receiver Monk. But if they can get a balanced attack and improve a couple areas on defense, they could be a factor again and a threat to get to Atlanta. If not, though, they could collapse pretty hard.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing, Robbie, that Marcus Monk could break Chris Doering's career record for touchdown catches. I kind of like Doering having that record.
Yeah, Doering's only 7 ahead of him now, and it's a 12-game schedule, and Monk is their go-to guy. And like Houston Nutt was saying, he's the most uncoverable receiver because even when he's covered, he makes a play with a 6'6" frame and a big soft hands. So Doering's in danger of losing that record.
Kind of like Dallas Baker. How many times was he covering all those alley-oop plays?
And somehow makes the play and makes your quarterback look good.
And here it is. We've talked about, there are 4 coaches up there today. We've talked about 3 of them. The one who's flying under the radar has been flying under the radar all off season. Everybody's talking LSU. Everybody's talking about Nick Saban. Nobody's talking about Tommy Tuberville and Auburn. And I would have picked them, Robbie, in my picks, and you can see those on Gatorsports.com on my blog. But their road schedule's brutal.
Yeah, and I think Tommy Tuberville learned a few years ago it's better to fly under the radar than in it. When he was boasting about how good they were going to be, and they got drummed, the season over against Southern Cal, the season went downhill. So I think they're better off flying under the radar. Team with a lot of talent on defense, a great quarterback, and they find a good receiver. They're going to be a tough team to beat because they've got that balance you're looking for now in the league.
You would think coaches would learn. Mike DeBose came in here talking about winning a national championship. That didn't work out. He went 3-8 and got fired. Tuberville came in here the same year or the same way, talking about it. So maybe Spurrier shouldn't have been talking about playing for the championship.
Yeah, maybe they'll collapse, but I don't think so. I think he's got a quarterback he likes, a guy that can run his offense. It's going to be interesting to watch them play.
No question about it.
No fun, too, when you have to go there if you're Florida.
No, I know. So. Yeah, Thursday, by the way, we have an interesting day because Nick Saban, the craziness of Nick Saban coming here, is going to be just maddening. The fans are going to be all over the place trying to get his autograph and hope just for a glimpse of St. Nick.
They'll probably be lurking outside all night waiting to.
Oh yeah, they're camping out right now to see Nick, and then of course Urban Meyer. We're looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah,
and I know he's excited about this.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a little Spurrier-esque in the fact that he's going to be very confident with his team because he likes his quarterback, likes his offense, and likes the young guys he has on defense.
And it'll be interesting. There's a lot of good stuff on Gatorsports.com. Some interesting stories. I think you guys are maybe a little bit different from the norm. So get on there. Yeah, different from the norm because they're well written. I think that would be.
Hit it is all you can say. Hit them.
Gatorsports.com. Make sure you go on there and of course see Doug Fingers all his great pictures from here as well. Until Thursday's webcast, this is Pat Dooley, Robbie Andreu saying so long from Hoover, Alabama.